Good afternoon, all of you. In the last class, we have discussed common gate amplifier with active load, right? And we were deriving the three expressions, that is input resistance, output resistance, and finally the cutoff frequencies. So in order to find the cutoff frequencies, I told you we need the expression for the input resistance and output resistance, and we have derived it yesterday. So today we will check how we can derive the cutoff frequency equation. And you know that why you need to find out the cutoff frequency of an amplifier, because at this cutoff frequency, the amplifier of the gain of the amplifier is going to decrease. It becomes 70.7% of the maximum value, and further, if you increase it beyond your cutoff frequency, the gain will still decrease. So below this cutoff frequency FH, the signal is having enough gain. The amplifier will be offering enough gain to the signal. That means the user should ensure that whatever the signal he is giving to the input of the amplifier, it should be within this particular range, starting from 0 till FH. Okay, so till the cutoff frequency FH only, he can give any signal. So what happens if we give the signal beyond FH? It will result in attenuation. So the amplification will not take place effectively. So output will be very less or very feeble. So that should not happen. So whenever a signal, an amplifier is designing, the designer should be aware about the cutoff frequency, and for a particular cutoff frequency only, he is going to design the amplifier. Okay, so that will be given as a specification to that particular product. So that after knowing this cutoff frequency fs, the user will be able to give the input in that particular range. Okay, so this particular parameter is very important for all the amplifiers, so that the users can give signals of desired frequency range. So let us see the equivalent circuit of a common gate amplifier with active load. Okay, so this is an equivalent circuit that will consist of the three capacitors. You can see the three capacitors in this diagram: CGD, CGS, and CL. So we are going to take the effect of these individual capacitances one by one. Thereafter, we will find the time constants. Okay, then add those time constants together, and we will find the cutoff frequency FH. So this is the equivalent circuit. So take down this equivalent circuit. This is called common gate. Why it is common gate? Because gate is common to both input and output side. Input is given to the source and output is taken from the drain. You know the three terminals are gate, drain, and source. We will be providing the input to the source terminal. We will take the output from the drain, and gate is common to both input and output. So this is the equivalent circuit that we have shown, including the effect of the capacitances CGD, CGS, and CL. CGD is nothing but the capacitance that you have connected between gate and drain. CGS is the capacitance between gate and source. CL is the load capacitance. What is CL? CL is a load capacitance which is connected across the load resistance RL. Now, what is the significance of CLS? You know that this is a circuit with active load, right? Please recall the concept of active load. In active load, what you have done? You will be connecting the active devices like Q2 and Q3 to the drain of Q1. Q1 is the actual amplifier, right? The transistor that is acting as the amplifier. Apart from Q1, you are having the other active devices like Q2 and Q3, which is acting as the active load. So if you consider these active devices, in between the junctions, we will have some internal capacitances. So all these internal capacitances of the load transistors together, they constitute CL. Okay, so I will be connecting the CL at the drain. Why I'm connecting CL at the drain and why not in the source or gate? Can anybody tell me why I'm specifically connecting this CL to the drain terminal? Yes, please. Why? Tanmaya, why you are connecting this load capacitance to the drain terminal and why you are not connecting to other terminals? Nivedita,
Yes, sir.
why CL is connected to the drain terminal? Why not to source or gate? Please try to understand the concept of active loads. I told you the last class also. The same thing I'm going to repeat it again and again. Active loads are the circuitry that you are connecting to the drain terminal, right? The drain terminal, to the drain terminal, you will be connecting Q2 and Q1. I hope you are remembering that particular diagram, circuit diagram, where Q1 is the amplifier, Q2 and Q3 are the supporting loads, which is acting as a current mirror circuit. So those load circuitry you are connecting at the drain terminal. That is why I'm connecting this load capacitance to the drain. So from wherever you are taking the output voltage to that terminal, you need to connect CL. Is that clear? So this is a common gate amplifier where you will be taking the output from the drain. So since the output is taken from the drain, I will connect the load capacitance at the drain terminal. Because the active load is always at the drain terminal as far as a common gate circuit is also concerned. Okay, let me show that circuit diagram if you want. This was a circuit diagram. See, this is your active load capital I, right? This capital I is being generated by Q2, Q3, which is not shown here, but still you can see this I is connected to D. So wherever this active load is connected to that terminal, we will connect CL, where CL represents the cumulative effect of all the internal capacitances of the active devices that you are connecting in the current mirror circuit. Is that okay? Understood, Nivedita?
Yes, sir. You understand.
So now I will take one by one capacitances, okay? And please understand the difference between VSIG and VI. VSIG is a signal to be amplified, whereas VI is the voltage that is appearing to the source after the voltage drop across RS. So let us consider CGS alone now, okay? I'm considering CGS alone now. So at the same time, CGD and CL will be discarded. And if you see this CGS, one end of CGS is connected to source, right? This is source. The other end is connected to gate, which is grounded. I repeat, if you take this CGS and find the two terminals, one terminal is connected to the source and other terminal is connected to the gate. Now find a resistance which is connected between the same terminals. Find a resistance that is being connected across the same terminals. Can anybody tell me? Banu Prakash, you just analyze the circuit and tell me. This is ground, this is source. You can see ground somewhere also, right? Here it is ground. And while drawing the circuitry, V signal can be deactivated, because you know that whenever you are going to find the equivalent circuit, the signal source to be deactivated. So it has to be short circuited and connected to ground. Now, if you see the circuit, tell me what is the resistance that is connected between the source and ground? Because ground is gate. Ground is gate, right? This is also ground. So obviously it is RS. Are you getting my point? RS is a resistance which is connected at the source as well as at the ground if you discard this. Because in high frequency equivalent circuit, we will not take the signal source into account while calculating the equivalent resistance. So in that case, RS is connected between the source and ground. Whereas gate is also at ground. So we can tell RS is parallel to CGS, isn't it? RS is parallel to CGS. So when you are looking across this terminals of CGS, you will be getting a physical resistance. You will be observing a physical resistance that is RS. Understood, students? Understood or not? Should I repeat it once again? Then, so this is a physical resistance that you are seeing across the ground and the source, that is RS. So this RGS can be written as RS, along with you are getting one more resistance, that is the input resistance, which is parallel to RS. Okay, so RGS is nothing but the resistance which is obtained after looking across the CGS terminals. So that will be RS parallel RN. But what is RN? That already you have derived in the yesterday's class. So take that result and substitute here and finalize the equation for RGS. So RGS can be written as RS parallel RN. After getting RGS, you need to multiply with CGS so as to get the time constant tau GS. Time constant is the product of the equivalent resistance that you have obtained after looking into those capacitive terminals multiplied by the capacitance. The value of Rn already you have computed. Why I have computed Rn? Because Rn is dependent on R0. Rn is dependent on R0. Why? Because you know that one end of the R0 is connected to the source terminal. One end of R0 is connected to the source terminal. Therefore, Rn is always dependent on R0. That is why I have computed Rn in the previous class separately, right? So that you need to take and substitute here, multiplied by the capacitance. So this will be your time constant. I hope you have drawn this figure. So this is the equivalent circuit that you have obtained while considering CGS alone. Meanwhile, the other two capacitances are made as 0. Now coming to the second case, which is a second capacitance. Second one, we will consider CGD. Okay. Now tell me where the CGD has been connected, across which terminals? Across which terminals? I want your response. CGD is connected across which terminals?
Drain and gate, sir.
Okay, drain and gate. Since gate is grounded, you can tell that the capacitor is connected between ground and drain. The capacitor is connected between ground and drain. Okay, now having knowing this particular fact, tell me which is the resistance now connected across the drain and ground. Same terminal. You have to analyze the terminals where you have connected CGD, and across that terminal, identify a resistance which is connected. Since gate is grounded, you can consider between drain and ground. What is the resistance that you have obtained? Between drain and ground.
RL, sir.
RL, very good. RL is a resistance that you got after looking through this terminal CGD. But the thing is, apart from RL, we will have R out also. We will have R out also, output resistance also, which is a function of small letter R0, that is internal resistance. And already we have computed it in the previous class. So this was the equation for R out in terms of RS and R0. So how you can write the expression for RGD, second case. So this is the second case where I will be finding tau GD. So in order to find this time constant tau GD, I have to find RGD. RGD is the equivalent resistance that I obtained after looking across the terminals CGD. So now you told me it was RL. Along with RL, one more element will come, that is R out. That cannot be seen physically. We can't see physical resistance, but it is depending on RS and R0, small letter R0, which is internal to the transistor. And I have computed already this R out by using some circuit analysis in the yesterday's class. I will take that R out here and substitute. Okay, so this will be your RGD. After finding RGD, multiply with the corresponding capacitance, that is your tau GD. Equation number 2. So as of now, you got tau GS and tau GD. Please write the derivation. I will give you time. Yes, start writing both the cases. Now, third case, what we need to find. As of now, I have found tau GD, tau GS, and which is the third case? It is tau CL, because we need to find the effect of CL. Yes. If you see CL, CL is connected across drain and ground. And if you're considering CL, I should not consider CGD, CS, and VSIC. So just by considering CL, and if you look into the CL terminal, the resistance that I am finding is RL, which is connected across the drain and ground. But across the drain and ground, we are having R out also, because R out is the output terminal. So across the drain and ground, we are having R out also. So the equivalent resistance that you are obtaining after looking into the capacitance CL will be same as that of the previous case, that is R out parallel RL. There is no change for that. Clear, students? So the equivalent resistance RCL. Why it is RCL? Because I have found a resistance after looking into CL. That will be same as that of RGD, because both CL and CGD are connected at the drain terminal. That is why their equivalent resistance is also same. So once you find RCL, substitute the value of R out from the previous equation, previous derivation. This is the expression for R out that you got. Finalize the equation of RCL. Multiply with the capacitance CL. That will be the time constant tau CL, equation number 3. Any doubts? Mahesh Babu?
No, sir.
Okay. So after writing the 3 equations, I hope you have written this. After writing the 3 equations, you just add the 3 equations so that you will get the total time constant tau h. Then we will finalize our equation fh, which is equal to 1 by 2 pi into tau h. In place of tau h, you will substitute this equation. So this derivation is very important. Okay. So if they are asked to solve the frequency response only, I mean to find the cutoff frequency only means you can start from here. Okay, don't go for R in and R out. Okay, you can start from cutoff frequency, the equivalent circuit, and the 3 steps, 3 equations, add it and solve for FH. So you have to remember the equations for R in and R out in that case. Clear? So please remember, in order to find the cutoff frequency FH of a common gate amplifier with the active load, you have to find the expression for input resistance and our output resistance, because they will be playing an important role in finding RGD as well as RCL, even RGS also. Okay, so all the time constants are directly dependent on input and output resistance. So you have to remember the expressions of input and output resistance. So if at all in the question paper, if they have asked to derive the frequency response of a common gate amplifier with the active load means, you can start from here and you can conclude the expression of. So these are the results that you have obtained for a CG amplifier with the active load. All of you write the consolidated results in a box because this you have to remember for applying into the numerical problems. So there will be numerical problems for CS, CG as well as CD. CS already yesterday we have done. So all the results you have to remember. All the derivation result you need to remember because you need to apply for the numericals. Okay. So compare it and study. That is why after each derivation, I want you to make a box, fill the results so that it will be easier to study. So the results are R in and R out. Whereas in the CS amplifier, you will not get this R in and R out. Why? Because the cutoff frequency is independent of R in and R out in a CS amplifier. So that is not mandatory for a CS. But if it is CG means you have to remember R in and R out. Based upon the results of R in and R out only, you will be able to go for the cutoff frequencies expression. Okay. Then we have to go for RGS, RGD, and RCL. Already I have we have discussed these expressions. Then the equation for tau H, right? So tau H is CGS into RGS, CGD into RGD plus CL into RCL. All the equations we have here in terms of R in and R out. Finally, the cutoff frequency FH. So if you remember this concept, I mean these equations means it will be easier for the numerical problems. So take down this problem. Consider a CG amplifier. Consider a CG amplifier specified as follows. Consider a CG amplifier specified as follows. W by L. What is W by L known as? What is W by L known as?
Aspect ratio.
Yes, aspect ratio or the ratio between the channels width and length. So it is clear from this question that width is 7.2 micrometer and length is 0.36 micrometer. Mu n COX, that is the Kn dash, 387 microampere per volt square. R0 internal output resistance is 18 kilo ohm. Drain current is 100 microampere. Trans conductance is 1.25 milliampere per volt. Chi is 0.2. So if chi value is given means it is understood that we have to go for GMD, that is body effect. So trans conductance due to body effect will also have a role in determining the input resistance and output resistance of the circuitry. Why body effect will occur in common gate? Because if you see the circuit diagram of a common gate amplifier with the active load, it is understood that the body is not tied to the source, it is separately grounded. So we have the transconductance effect due to body effect as well as due to your original current. So ID will be the sum of GMVGS and GMVBS. So that you can refer. Already body effect has been discussed in second module. So because of the body effect, that transconductance due to body effect has to be found out. So for this, that chi value has been given. Source resistance 10 kilo ohm, load resistance 100 kilo ohm, then two capacitance, whereas the third capacitance is already 0. So it means need not find the time constant corresponding to CL. Since CL is already 0, don't find tau CL. Clear, students? PL is already given as 0. So there is no role for the load capacitance. So it is understood that we are not going to find tau CL. So we are going to find only tau GS and tau GD. And what is the parameters that you need to find out? You need to find out the input resistance, output resistance, and the high frequency, high cutoff frequency FH. So is the question is clear for everyone? Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The equation for Rn is given by, see the results and copy the equation as such. R0 plus RL divided by R0 into GM plus GMB plus 1. Now substitute the given parameters. R0 is 18 kilo ohm, RL is 100 kilo ohm, right? RL, where is RL? Yeah, RL is 100 kilo ohm. So no need to convert into ohms and all, because you can expect your answer in kilo ohm itself. So no need to convert. Divided by 1 plus GM is already given. It is 1.25 milliamps. Milliamps is fine because resistance is in kilo ohm. So transconductance will be in milliohm. So let it be as such. What about GMB? The equation for GMB is given here. Chi into GM already we have discussed in the body effect. Transconductance due to the body effect is nothing but the product of original transconductance multiplied by the given value of chi, that is 0.2. So GMB can be written as chi into GM, that is 0.2 into 1.25 whole multiplied by R0, that is 18. Just make use of your calculator and let me know whether you got the same answer, 4.2 kilo ohm. Got the answer, 4.2. While entering in the calculator, be careful. First, you have to multiply 0.2 into 1.25. Then you need to add the result with 1.25. Don't go as such. First, go for the product. Then you need to add with 1.25. Then multiply it with 18. Then add with 1. Be careful. Because if you make one mistake in Rn, then everything will be error. Tau GS, tau GD, because everything is in the terms of Rn and Rout, right? So be careful while entering the values. What is the value you got? Bhanu Prakash, have you got the same answer?
Yes, sir. I got 4.21 kilo ohms.
Okay, very good. Now we will go with R out. So copy the same equation, R out. Rs into 1 plus R0 into GM plus GMB plus R0. So you can spare at least 10 to 15 minutes for studying all the three results, CG, CS, and CD results. Okay. If you miss out to study or remembering this equation means you can't score marks in the numericals. That's why. So take the equation, substitute all the relevant parameters. So you will be getting the answer like 298 kilo. Check it. Okay, after finding R out, I hope everyone has got the same answer, 298. Ramya Priya,
Sir,
we got the same answer. Okay, so after getting R in and R out, we will go with RGS. Right? What is RGS? RGS is nothing but the parallel combination of RS and RN. Substitute RS and RN. RS is 10 kilo ohm. RN just now you got as 4.2. So 10 parallel 4.2. Check whether it is 3 kilo ohm. 10 parallel 4.2. How will you find R1 parallel R2? R1 into R2 by R1 plus R2. So 10 multiplied by 4.2 upon 10 plus 4.2. Next, RGD, RL parallel R out. RL is 100 kilo ohm. R out is 298 kilo ohm. Again, parallel combination you need to expand. 100 multiplied by 298 upon 100 plus 298. So answer is 75 kilo ohm. So now we had find RGS and RGD. Of course, you don't find RCL. Why? Because the question CL is 0. So no need to find the equivalent resistance corresponding to CL. That will not be included while calculating the tau h, even though the general formula is this. The general formula for finding the tau h is having all the three terms, because all the three capacitance have been considered one by one. Whereas if you see this particular question, the CL value is 0, so you will discard the third term and you will be adding the two terms. Right? Now substitute RGS into CGS. What is RGS? RGS is 3K. CGS is 20 picofarad, not pico, femto, right? It is femto, 20 femtofarad. Femtofarad means 10 to the power minus 15. Femtofarad is 10 to the power minus 15. So if you multiply 10 to the power minus 15 and 10 to the power 3, because kilo ohm will be having 3. So your answer will be in terms of 10 to the power minus 12. So that will be considered as pico. Okay. Minus 15 plus 3 is negative 12. So that will be picoseconds. So the total time constant that you have obtained is for 35 picoseconds. After that, we can go with this equation, our final equation, to compute the cutoff frequency FH. Substitute and tell me whether you are getting this answer. While substituting, you need to convert pico into seconds. So 10 to the power minus 12. Then you will be getting a big answer in hertz. Divide it by 10 to the power 6. Then you will be getting the answer in megahertz. Check it. Less than 1 minute, this meeting will get ended. Please rejoin back with the same link.